APEC SOM Chair speaks on what's expected next week. Police reveal details of supermarket gunfight. And the University of Goroka opens up in Maprik District.
This is the National EMTV News with Mary Bertulo.
A very good evening. Thank you for joining us. This is Friday's news. Next week's APEC senior officials meeting will see 3,000 delegates from member economies converging on Port Moresby. In an exclusive interview with EMTV, SOM Chair Ivan Pomalio spoke candidly about what Port Moresby residents should expect and what tangible results the country can experience from hosting APEC this year.
The Senior Officials Meeting, or SOM 1 as it is known, is the first of the 4 SOM cluster meetings, which will be policy-focused, finding solutions to corporately develop the 21 member economies. The meeting will begin on the 24th of February and conclude on the 9th of March.
So we're kickstarting the first senior officials on the 24th of February. That's just a little over a week from now, and it will entail something like 78 meetings running within the space of 14 days. And that's going to be hosted in the principal venue, which is the Stanley Hotel. But we have 3 satellite venues, the Laguna, the Lamana, and of course the Gateway Hotels running those meetings. This is when we come in and approve the work programs for the year, and that means that we go through and look at how the different working groups and committees are responding to our policy focus.
Despite preparations and anticipation of the meetings, critics remain skeptical about the country's role in hosting such a big event, criticism surrounding the millions of public monies used.
We do know for a fact that the conversation surrounding APEC has translated into major infrastructure development in Port Moresby, for instance, and that's good. And infrastructure development is typically, in terms of its return, the returns must be charged over a longer period of time. And that is fair because it's not just for APEC, it's for the city residents as a whole. And
Leanne Jarari, National EMTV News.
Close collaboration between the private and the public sector is needed to deal with the country's challenging economic climate. Businesses have stated that a public-private partnership gives confidence to the private sector, even if it only gives 20%.
A panel of private and public sector stakeholders gathered to discuss the major challenges in the business environment and best practices to use when moving forward. Though 2019 is touted to be a year of recovery in which benefits from APEC will be more evident, the country's private sector is unanimous when urging with the government to exercise fiscal responsibility.
Expected was to just have an open dialogue with public and private sector stakeholders, talking about the opportunities really that APEC offers Papua New Guinea in 2018. We know the country is facing a lot of significant challenges in terms of foreign exchange, national debt. So what we wanted to talk about is how they can leverage upon APEC to expand trade relationships, build new trade relationships, help the private sector to access regional value chains. And we're very excited to see that digital sort of technology and digital opportunities are a big theme this year in APEC, because we believe when a country faces funding constraints and infrastructure gaps, its digital technology can really help to overcome those gaps.
Leanne Jarari, National EMTV News.
To East Sepik Province, and the Maprik District Resource Centre is now open for enrolment. The University of Goroka is the first institution to open its books for student registration. UOG's campus coordinator, Theresa Dingu, says over 40 students have registered.
Maprik District in East Sepik Province is now the first district to partner with the University of Goroka to establish its campus in Maprik. Yesterday, the UOG Council held a council meeting in the district and was then followed by the announcement of the registration of students. UOG Campus Distance Flexible Learning Coordinator Teresa Dingu says enrollments are flooding in.
The parents and the students are just so privileged and they are very happy now because recent time staff now UOG is here and here to stay with the people, just bringing the university very close to the doorstep, and you know, people are so excited with the program that is on offer now.
A small ceremony was held to signify the occasion. UOG Chancellor Professor Joseph Sukianov says the university wants to provide that opportunity to students in the district. He says 3 courses will be offered.
Postgraduate diploma in education is meant for staff, or people who have qualifications and are teaching in secondary schools or high schools. The other one is early childhood education, which is become very popular now. Matriculation for grade 12s who may have not met the minimum requirements or did not score well in their scores at the examinations of grade 12.
A funding of 1.5 million was used to build 4 duplex buildings. Other universities like Divine Word, Unitech and UPNG will also establish their campus there.
What we are saying is that DDA is providing the avenue. All the universities, instead of you come and run your own campuses in the district, you come and you run it through the resource center.
The University of Goroka has maintained that registration will be strict and those applying will be screened to maintain quality. Over 40 students have enrolled.
We are informing our coordinators here that anyone who does not meet our requirements need to do an upgrade so that they can enroll. We're not enrolling any other people who are not meeting requirements. So quality is maintained.
UOG will be holding talks with the East Sepik provincial government for the University of Goroka to establish a formal Momase regional campus in Wewak. Jack Lapave Jr., National MTV News.
Bank South Pacific has officially entered into the life insurance business in Papua New Guinea. Today, BSP Life Limited received its license from the Bank of PNG to enable it to operate as a licensed life insurance company. According to BSP Group CEO Robin Fleming, the decision to venture into life insurance was in response to market demands for a healthier competition within the finance and insurance sector. As per this BPNG issued license, BSP Life Limited will now offer mortgage consumer credit insurance, group term life insurance and an endowment product to its customers.
BSP Life PNG Limited to look at ways that can instill confidence in the industry through demonstration of good corporate governance, strong risk management and good financial management.
These are products which are for the benefit of most Papua New Guineans. The key beneficiaries of these types of life insurance products aren't the corporate clients, they're not necessarily the larger businesses, it's for ordinary Papua New Guineans.
You're watching National MTV News. We'll have more of today's stories after these messages. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the news. An Asian man has been charged for the murder of another Asian man in Port Moresby. The police say the 2 men were involved in a gun battle and one shot and killed the other. The incident occurred inside a major shopping center just after 7 p.m. last night. Both the suspect and the deceased are from the Philippines, and police are working closely with the Philippines Embassy in Port Moresby to carry out investigations. Tekla Gunga reports.
Confirmed police reports revealed that both men were security guards. One was a supervisor and the other a junior staff. Both men were involved in an argument which led to the shootout. The one now deceased was the supervisor, while the junior staff is in police custody. He has been charged for willful murder.
They thought that it has come down, nothing would happen, but the suspect then pursued the deceased and eventually draws the weapon. That alerted the deceased, who was standing when he was shot. And a couple of some shots were fired, even when he have fallen down, was shot while down on the floor.
There were 3 others who were injured in the shootout. Of the 3, one is a minor, under the age of 15. The incident occurred on the evening the National Gun Control Ban was debated in Parliament. Police Minister Jalta Wong, in his ministerial statement, told Parliament that tougher legislations must be imposed on the buying and selling of guns in the country. This afternoon, NCD Police confirmed that the security company involved has licenses for purchasing guns. However, police are yet to confirm if the 2 men have permits to carry guns around.
As we speak, witnesses are being interviewed to build up the case of that incident. I would have to confirm with the other authorities, but we are aware that these are 2 foreigners.
The suspect will remain in police custody because of the seriousness of the case, and there is the possibility for 2 additional charges. This is one of the rare cases for Asian nationals to be involved in a gun battle in Papua New Guinea. While police have commenced investigations, the identities of the 2 men involved has been withheld for legal reasons. Tekla Gunga, National MTV News.
Minister for Lands Yashin Chechenko says the Purari Special Agriculture Business Lease has been cancelled. He was responding to Gulf Governor Chris Hivetter's question on the registration of customary land and the cancellation of the Purari SABL, which covers 600,000 hectares of forest.
Gulf Governor Chris Hivetter was questioning the Lands Minister on the registration of customary land.
What are the status of SABLs in Gulf Province? And with particular reference to Purari SABL. Purari is 600,000 hectares and triple SABL through.
Minister Chechenko said the Purari SABL had been cancelled.
It was set up on an NEC decision. They have clearly found a total breach in all procedures issuing that SABL to Purari Development Association. And 102 of the Lands Act that was breached, an issue of summons under Section 161 of the Land Registration Act to Purari Development Association has been given as of last week to surrender the original titles and owner's copy of Portion 8 in the Gulf Province.
The minister said the area will go through clan vetting to identify the rightful landowner.
And then work a proper clan vetting exercise to identify the true landowners that then can get the true benefits of the land that they traditionally live on.
The Lands Minister also informed Parliament that they had found 10 SABL files that went missing.
Continuing the search throughout the department. It's a very tedious process, but anybody involved in hiding or concealing these very important documents will be dealt with in the department.
Adelaide Siraks Kari, National MTV News.
Morobe Governor Ginson Sauno says the Morobe provincial government is ready to help in setting up an SME incubation center in Lae. Governor Sauno said there is 30 million kina parked for SMEs and he hopes the government can look to other provinces to set up SME incubators apart from the National Capital District.
Governor Sanu said Morobe stands ready to assist with developing SME in the province and hopes the SME incubation center will also be built in Morobe.
Towards end of last year, stating that we stand ready as we have identified land and area also, providing some counter funding to immediately commence the business incubation center in Lae.
He said this when asking the Minister for National Planning on the government's plan for the 30 million kina parked for SME.
Where will this money 30 million kina be packed? 2, will it not be used in Port Moresby alone?
Minister for National Planning Richard Maru said the SME Incubation Centre was not only for NCD and will be built in other centres.
Along the provincial capitals throughout the country, NCD now Governor team only move first. Now only designing one the Centre Peninsula Port Moresby, low starting program. But the intention is not only to have that centre only in Port Moresby. We are looking at the program for the country.
Minister Maru said they are looking to have the Indian government carry out a feasibility study on SME for the country.
Now in the next 2 months we are going to bring the Indian government to do a complete feasibility study to look at setting up a major SME business incubation.
Adelaide Xerox Kari National, EMTV News.
The education exhibition is the first of its kind in New Ireland province in an effort to raise education quality within New Ireland. It aims to ensure academic results are equivalent to the value of funds invested in education. Keviang Konos in central New Ireland and Namatanai were covered in a week-long awareness and showcase of different educational, tertiary and vocational institutions. The expo is an initiative of the New Ireland provincial government implemented by the Special Services. This program is a pilot project that is proposed to be an annual program depending on the evaluation report from this first expo. The Telecom PNG Cash Draw number 16 was rolled out today. The 5 winners that were announced are users on Telecom PNG's variety of products and services.
This morning's draw saw 3 winners from its ADSL customers picked, while 2 were from the Telecom 4G prepaid mobile customers. The Telecom Cash Draw into the 16th round has been rewarding its customers who have been recharging their accounts to the value of 20 kina or more.
This is the 16th draw. We have 4 more draws to go. That leaves with 20,000 on the jackpot.
Telecom PNG has also extended its talk time for its customers subscribing to its monthly mobile pass bundles.
This is a 32 kina that will get you unlimited calls on net, Telecom mobile to mobile, and 100 minutes of calls to your other service providers, other mobile service providers. And we feel this is one of the best in the market today. We encourage our customers to subscribe to this plan for all your SMS and voice needs.
And with popular demand from customers for its 24-hour free talk and social media surfing on Valentine's Day, Mr. Alone says social media passes are also in the pipeline.
Pretty much January, so we decided to give it to our valued customers on Valentine's Day. So that was a full 24 hours of free access to your favorite social media sites, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and on that SMS, voice calls as well as calls from our mobile network to fixed line. So that should compensate for the loss that our customers may have suffered during the network outages that we experienced in January.
Harry Gimbari, National EMTV News.
Here with National EMTV News still to come, a row erupts over change in security services for the Lae City Council and more. Stay with us for the details. Welcome back to the news. The National Agriculture Research Institute has moved a step forward in its Gallip Nut Research Project. Head of NARI's Gallip Project, Theo Nevinimo, says they will be moving into processing and packaging Gallip products to sell both locally and internationally. NARI has been investing in researching the Gallip nuts after realizing their potential as a basic ingredient for cooking as well as cosmetics.
At the National Agricultural Research Institute at Kerawat in its New Britain province, the Gallip nuts have been cracked and its kernels are stored away in deep freezers in a cooler room waiting to be processed. The Gallip nut can be eaten as it is, or it can be further processed into oil and other ingredients for cooking and baking. Traditionally, Gallip is grown locally in most parts of the New Guinea Islands region. In most cases, it is harvested and sold at the market. Until recently, NARI is seeing the potentials in the nut that they want to further develop a market around it. The head of the Gallip project and NARI's senior scientist Theo Nevinimo says they are making groundbreaking researches not only about how to cultivate the nut, but also to look into possible avenues to market the finished products.
And if we are storing, then we will have to find a market to get rid of the stock. Otherwise, everything just stops.
Since 2008, NARI has been conducting scientific researches into the nut because of its high-quality oil and unique taste, and also for its potential of reaching overseas food markets.
We have to have our products, so now we are gearing up to storing processing and storing our products for it to launch in the market. Once we launch them, people will know that we have Galip, and that will sort of create its own market.
The head of the project says in order to tap into a large-scale market, it means they have to upscale their operations.
We've been distributing seeds to farmers since 2008, and we are currently, those trees are currently coming into bearing, but they have not come into full production. But we also still continuing to supply seedlings for people to plant.
NARI has supplied more than 20,000 Galip seedlings to farmers all over the New Guinea Islands region, and earlier this week a new mechanical Galip processor was installed to replace the manual cracking method. The machine can process up to 1 ton of Galip kernels every hour, putting NARI as one of the first organizations in the country to operate such processing plant. While NARI may have the capacity to process Galip nuts into finished products, Mr. Nevenimo says they want to meet one of their criteria first, and that is to make sure that the demand for the local market is met with a constant supply. Edwin Fidelis, National EMTV News, Kokopo.
Papua New Guineans have been urged to write their wills to ensure their families benefit in the event that they pass on. Public Curator Jacob Popuna made the appeal after cases of deceased persons without wills had been causing difficulties for his office to equally distribute assets to beneficiaries.
It is a real challenge at the Public Curator's office when it comes to dealing with beneficiaries of deceased persons involved in a polygamous lifestyle. According to the law, the widow gets 1/3 of what has been left behind by the deceased, while the child or the children takes the remaining 2/3. However, the increasing lifestyle of Papua New Guineans to engage in polygamy marriages often forces the Curator's office to reach a compromise.
Like the public servants and everyone, if they can have a will, it's more better, because our job is becoming difficult because of the lifestyle of every Papua New Guinean. The way they're living these days is more complex than previously. Like the customary obligations and like in the way of marrying several wives. Previously it was thought to be in particular regions, but now it's spreading all over the country, and people are having 2-3 wives, and we have no choice but to accommodate them, because we only try to comply with the lifestyle of the deceased.
Popuna explains that writing a will makes it easier for his office to establish and give beneficiaries what they are entitled to.
Every Papua New Guinean should have a will, and we hope that even like banks who are giving loans probably should encourage their clients to write a will, so that in the event that they pass away, how will their loan be facilitated, continue to be repaid, so that it makes our job easier and their job easier too.
Oftentimes, third parties involving the deceased relatives have caused issues as well. The Public Curator also encouraged lawyers to document wills of their client, as verbal wills cannot be considered.
Those relatives do claim that the deceased promised me before he died that this vehicle or this house or this car, he gave it to me, he passed away. But to prove that is very difficult. So we're always very cautious about it, because we will be taking the risk in making commitments to verbal will, sort of. Even state declarations, in some instances courts have declared the state declarations wills are not wills.
He said there are regional offices established and people should not give excuses to get a copy of the will forms, as they are free. Momasa region has their office in Lae, New Guinea Islands in Rabaul, Highlands in Mount Hagen, and the Southern region and NCD located at 4 Mile here in Port Moresby. Stacey Yalo, National, MTV News.
In news just in, a media officer in Lae was assaulted by personnel from the Morabe Governor's office whilst on an assignment today. The Governor's Chief of Staff, Stephen Botting, and 5 other men punched the journalist multiple times, saying there were a lot of negative reports being made about the Morabe Governor, Ginson Sauno. They also issued threats against other journalists in Lae. A formal complaint has been laid, and 4 men, including Botting, have been arrested and charged with assault and drunk and disorderly behavior. To take us to Trukai Sports, local level government sports office in Kainantu District, Eastern Highlands Province, received a donation of 50,000 kina from a Lae-based company, Home State Corporation Limited. The money will help the LLG to upgrade the current sports field used by the town's soccer and rugby league association. The province has produced several athletes at both the provincial and national level. This donation came from the company's community support program, where it assists in funding projects in education, agriculture, and community and welfare. Company owner Paibun Wetwatana said the upgrade will boost individual performance and involve active participation by youth in the community and to help keep them away from causing unnecessary social problems. Before we go to Trukai Sports, we go overseas for a while. Archbishop Desmond Tutu has become the latest prominent supporter of Oxfam to cut his ties with the charity following allegations of a cover-up and sex scandal involving some staff abroad. The former Oxfam country director in Haiti has today responded to allegations that he paid a woman for sex. He said it was a malicious rumor, but he was ashamed of some of his behavior.
Public donations. Behind the armed guard, the high fences and barbed wire live Haiti's elite and foreign aid workers. Among them, it is believed some Oxfam staff held alleged sex parties in 2010. The man who led Oxfam's Haiti operation at the time has denied using prostitutes. Roland van Houwermeden, who resigned from Oxfam, has finally spoken to a Belgian broadcaster and denied the main allegations against him.
Misschien minder professionele journalisten.
Some unprofessional journalists are implying that Oxfam organises sex orgies using money from donations, which is absolutely untrue.
He says he was solely in Haiti to lead Oxfam's operations at a difficult time for the organisation and the country. He condemned sex parties with prostitutes as reprehensible. He admits having a relationship with a local woman, but insists she wasn't a prostitute. Anything else, he says, is malicious rumour.
That was just as respectable as if I met a woman here. We fell in love. There's nothing wrong with that. I admit I should have known better at the time, that gossip can spread, cause suspicion, be wrongly interpreted.
Doubtless, the majority of Oxfam employees came to Haiti with the intention of doing good, of helping with the reconstruction effort after the devastating earthquake of 2010. But today, the charity is holding on by its fingertips, in danger of being thrown out of the country altogether over what allegedly went on in these staff villas. The Haitian government has summoned Oxfam's local leaders to explain themselves. Incredibly, given what's at stake, Oxfam didn't turn up and requested a delay. Still, if they are allowed to stay in Haiti, they will be expected to change the way they operate.
I think they are too free operating in Haiti now, and that's exactly why those things are happening. You see those people on the beach with young people, with underage young girls and young boys being abused. It's very common. No.
Within the expat community in Haiti, the poor behaviour of some individuals was well known. Aid agency cars could even be seen picking up prostitutes.
Over the past, certainly post-earthquake, when there was an explosion in the number of NGO vehicles here, I think it's fair to say that it did happen quite frequently. It would be noticeable.
As so often the case, it's the poorest who have the most to lose. And Oxfam itself has carried out billions of pounds worth of development projects around the world. A few members of staff have caused the charity immeasurable harm, but it may still have further to fall.
Back home and in a developing eviction story, families living at Hohola 1 along the Stekulia and Spondia streets from Section 16, Lot 89 to 72 are allegedly facing the risk of being evicted. The person by the name of Paul Elavo has sold the Elavo family home to an Asian who acquired the property, but the neighbors fear that he might have bought off the entire area.
Just probably sit next door to our neighbors.
According to the Elavo family, they have verbally agreed that the area must not be sold, as the title was under Paul's name. Their deceased father had purchased the property from Elcom when it was transitioning to PNG Power. To this day, there are about 4 generations of Elavos that call the place home. Currently, they are facing eviction as one of their family members, Paul Elavo, who goes by the name of Stephen, has sold the property on February last year to a known Chinese person who owns GE Development.
As you can see, me and my family, my in-laws with their family, there's about four families here that we've been evicted from the premises that one of my in-laws sold. The title is under his name, but that agreement was done between us family, myself included, with his brothers and sisters, on a verbal agreement that he was not going to sell the place or chase any family member, but he went behind our back and sold the place to some Chinese people.
The families have demolished 4 of their 5 houses already as they await 4:06 p.m. today to know their fate. The disappointed families say they have requested Lands Department to develop their backyard, but for years have been turned down.
Most of us in all these houses, I think there's 12 allotments here. We work in various government departments. We serve the public of the day, and we expect to be treated fairly. So we followed procedures. We also inquired with the lands to acquire our backyards, to develop our backyards. And, you know, lands, I'm appealing to my fellow colleagues in the lands department. Such things happen, why don't they come out and interview us families?
The families say the person who sold the house has gone into hiding ever since. They are calling on him to come forward and find a way out for the family. However, the families say they have nowhere to go. Since their father acquired the house from Elcom in the 60s, the family has called Hohola home. They are calling on the government to intervene and assist the family to get their home back.
Not human at all. And I'm appealing to my Honorable Minister for Lands, Justin Chichenko. There was a thing on land grabbing, you know. So where has our authorities gone to? Are they on our side as locals, or they're selling our properties to millionaires, foreigners? How did these people come into be? Give us a chance as Papua New Guineans and us as public servants who are living in these houses.
The amount to which the property was sold is unknown to this day, but the families believe that the person who sold the property has already received 10% of the payment. The families say they were being offered 50,000 kina by the person who bought the property and to sign certain documents containing certain conditions.
They put us in a situation where, you know, we just had no choice. Because they told us they were more than happy to, you know, help us relocate. So they had a package for us. But they gave the package was attached to a condition.
Neighbors along the area also expressed their concerns that they could also face eviction because the person who bought the house has acquired the rest of the hill behind the properties. They are now questioning their local member and authorities as to why foreigners are purchasing land everywhere in the country. Stacey Yalo, National, MTV News.
You're watching National MTV News. Don't go away. We have some sporting updates next in Trukai Sports. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. We begin with Rugby League. The SPPNG Hunters 2018 season launch was held last night at the Sir John Guy's Indoor Complex. The launch was witnessed by team sponsors as well as members of Parliament.
The SPPNG Hunters had a very successful 2017 season, winning the Queensland Interest Super Cup title. They're now gearing up for another grueling year to defend their premiership. Hunters Deputy Chairman Terry McManus says this year will be more difficult, with every team in the tournament looking to grab a win against the Premiers. He says this year they will become the hunted.
But the SP Hunters will again triumph if everyone is prepared to embrace the challenge, drawing on inner strength, mateship, faith, while carrying out the game plan that is drilled by the coaching staff. Nothing unites PNG like the SP Hunters when they're in full flight.
The PNG RFL has been working hard to make sure this year's team has all the resources it needs to prepare for what will be their toughest season to date. PNG RFL CEO Reta Rao was resolute in saying this year's Hunters team, though half, may be new to the competition, but they are confident they can produce first-rate results.
Having a lot more to say, but I just want to say at the end, very end, just continue to say thank you for this family of sponsors that make sure that the Hunters enjoy what they do and give an opportunity to Papua New Guinean boys who go from the leagues to the Diesel Cup to the Hunters and give them the hope to become a Kumul and if even go to overseas.
SP Brewery has been part of the Hunters since its inception in the Q Cup, having naming rights for the past 4 years. Speaking on behalf of SP Brewery Managing Director Stan Joyce was Marketing Manager Josh Wheeler. He expressed the company's pride in being part of the 4-year journey.
SP are proud to be naming rights partnership with the SP Hunters in 2018. And our investment both so far and for the future is in excess of 12 million kina. This team are role models to their communities. They're inspiring a new generation of boys and girls to be better.
Speaking on behalf of the government, Vice Sports Minister Wesley Raminai encouraged the players and wished them the best this season.
The experience of winning a premiership is not a dream anymore, and we have every confidence in you, Michael, and your team, that you will maintain the consistency that you will deliver to this country, and the memorable result that would love to experience once again.
The 2018 team and coaching staff was introduced to the stage, all robed in their new look 2018 uniform. Absent from the launching were brothers Ase and Watson Boys, who had to attend to family obligations. Elijah Levitt, National EMTV Sports.
And SPPNG Hunters fullback Stargoth Amean will captain the team in next weekend's trial match against the Brisbane Broncos. Hunters captain Ase Boas will sit out next weekend's match due to a hand injury. Amean says he is privileged to be given the opportunity, even though it comes with added responsibility. He is looking forward to the match against what is his favorite NRL club.
For me, I'll just go in and there's a lot of responsibility coming on my shoulder at the moment, being the captain, and when as a boss not. I'll just go up there and try and lead a team and do what I can do and do what I do best, and that's run the ball hard and tackle hard and defend hard.
To hockey, and the PNG Hockey Federation President Kalwin Potuan says preparations for the Under-18 Oceania Hockey Championships have already begun. Top players from selected provinces will be brought to Port Moresby for a training camp to determine the country's final squad.
The Under-18 Hockey Oceania Championships will take place on the 25th of April in Port Moresby. Hockey Federation President Kulwan Potuan says the bid to host the tournament went out last year and PNG won the bid.
We were looking at 8, but unfortunately Samoa and New Zealand are not coming, so it's only 6. That's Solomon Islands, Vanuatu, Fiji, Tonga and Australia.
Players for the event will come from respective centres in the country.
We are well prepared for this game because we have selected players from not only Port Moresby. We've selected players from Manus, Eastern Britain, Kimbe, Lae, Medeng and Port Moresby.
A total of 6 countries will participate in the tournament.
The selection has not been done yet. What we're planning to do is, once we get the training squad in place, we'll call for other centers to come in here, Port Moresby, and we'll do the final selections, and then they come back, and then we'll call in the final squad to train here.
This is the first time for PNG Hockey Federation to host an event of this size.
By hosting the under-18 year, yes, that's part of it. To expose internationally by getting these countries here in the Oceania.
Godwin Eki, National, MTV Sports.
You're watching Trukai Sports. We'll have more after these messages. Don't go away.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. To international cricket now, and the New Zealand Black Caps are thriving off the challenge Australia will bring in tonight's T20 showdown at Eden Park.
And home crowd sure to be a key advantage for the Kiwis. A strong record though backs them, having won the past 3 games there, including that thrilling one-wicket victory in the group stages of the 2015 World Cup.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't know if record counts for much anymore. You know, any team who plays well on the day is going to win, so we've just got to come out and play our best cricket.
A win for the Black Caps would end England's hopes and set up a Trans-Tasman decider next Wednesday at the same venue.
And that story wraps up Trukai Sports for this evening. Up next, you were the details for the weekend.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
A quick look at the weather for the next 24 hours in the southern region. A shower or two expected in Daru. Elsewhere in the region, a top of 32 and fine for the major centres.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
And that's the news, sport and weather for today, Friday, February the 16th, 2018. On behalf of the MTV News team, have a safe and enjoyable weekend. Good night.